to Jazz Podcast episode 13. And today we have our special guest, Erin Carter. Hello, Erin.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from the other side. We were just saying that, how many times Erin came to this side of town, and she said maybe once or twice a year.
No, I said once or twice ever.
Oh, ever? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we appreciate.
I don't go far.
Yes, I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. She's Erin Carter. So, Erin, can you please introduce yourself a little bit of like how you got into Muay Thai, how many fights you have now?
Yeah, sure. So I believe I started training like 6.5 years ago, maybe just over 6, actually. And like many girls I know you've spoken to, I just started because I thought it was going to be fun. No thought of fighting ever. And I was tossing up between doing a new sport. I was like, it's going to be tennis or it's going to be Muay Thai. And I tried Muay Thai. And then
So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Tennis and Muay Thai.
and like, you probably have it in the gym as well a lot, but I was just doing like weights and I was like, this can't be it for me because this is so boring. I'm sure. I know a lot of people like love lifting weights and stuff, but I couldn't do it as like my whole exercise thing. So I was like, I need a sport. Settled on Muay Thai, and as most of us do, just loved it. Like instantly, I was doing like literally every single class that the gym had on offer. Like I was like at every single one, and just really fell in love with it. And then I think I probably did some sparring days and stuff, and maybe started fighting like 1.5 years after training, sort of thing. Just like that, Dhamma's like 2-minute or maybe 1.5 minute rounds. So like not anything crazy. We like had lockdown for around a year because this was in 2021 maybe or something, or 2020. And then kind of as soon as that came out, I was like, yeah, definitely want to do this. And I think I had 2 fights, but it was on the one night before lockdown. So my amateur debut, I like had a fight and there was another girl, she pulled out. So I like replaced her on the same night. So I had 2 technically, and then had like a year off. And then I had like 8 fights when I came back in a row, back to back in 1 year.
Crazy.
Was like, I'm going in.
Yeah.
And then, so now I've had, I believe 25 fight, amateur and pro. So yeah, was definitely really busy for a couple of years. Like after we got out of COVID, I was like, send it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's crazy.
But on that, like I've been so lucky, which I know so many girls can't say, like with the opportunities that have been like given to me, and like just having opponents when I've wanted them and stuff. Like some people just go through hell, pull outs and just can't find opponents and shows and stuff. So I have definitely like along with luck and like Daniel's hard work matching me up. But I've been really lucky to have some opportunities through that time. Yeah.
And I mean, like, I think your weight division pool is actually quite hot at the moment. Yeah. There's a few girls that actually, you can actually match them. And I think that's why.
There's so many stronger, like just in Australia, I'm pretty much only had Australian ones. Like I've had a couple international ones just like on tournaments and stuff. Yeah, so many. It's like a stacked division. I'm like 59, so not too light, not too heavy. I'm really lucky, with that as well. Yeah, heaps of really good girls are that way around.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Well, you've done a bit of amateurs back in the day. Yeah. And then you turned pro. Can you tell us the difference of like from being amateur to pro fighters?
Yeah. I was actually having a conversation with someone about this like 3 nights ago at the gym. They said, were you really scared when you had your first pro debut? I suppose that's a oxymoron, isn't it? My first professional fight. And I don't think I was actually like that nervous. The way I kind of went into it is like I had a couple VAMA fights. I had a couple 5-round VAMA fights, so like 5 2-minute rounds. And then I went overseas and did like an ISCA tournament thing. And then when I came back from that, I fought in Queensland, I think twice in a row. Oh no, maybe one was before I went to the Worlds and then one when I came back. First one, I took off the shin guards because Queensland, cowboy rules. So still technically an amateur fight, but no shin guards, still had the elbow guards. And I remember stressing before that because I was like, shins, like, they're going to get fucked up. And then I came out of that. It's all good for someone.
Yeah, you can do it.
I know that came out of it with like, I don't even think a bang on my shins. And I was like, it's not like that big a deal. And then the next one I had in Queensland, it was still technically amateur. It was 3 2-minute rounds, but we took off the elbow pads as well.
Oh.
And so no elbows and no shin guards. And that time I was like, I'm going to get split open. Like I was stressing about that. And then I don't even think she threw an elbow. And I was like, oh, it's
Uh-huh.
not that big a deal. And then the fight after that, pro debut on Roots. So the only difference was that it was 3-minute rounds in terms of the actual fight. Obviously, the training stepped up and stuff, but I wasn't too nervous about like the actual fight. I don't think it was just different, I suppose, because it's a bit more. You feel a bit more like exposed. It's like a lot more like hoo-ha before the fight, making your pro debut and stuff, and the training kind of amps up. But yeah, in terms of like my actual progression from the amateur fights to going pro, it was like very nice build up, I think.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like, 3 2-minute rounds, all padded,
Mm.
headgear and stuff, and then suddenly
Yeah.
everything came off. Yeah, I know that like obviously works for plenty of people, but I really liked having the stepping stones because it was, the first time I was just stressed about my shins.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Second time I was stressed about the elbows. Nothing happens. Yeah, by the time I was just like, oh, it's just an extra minute of
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah. That's a really nice like progress going into like each step of you. So I think that's what happened with some of the girls that they knew as well. They're like, from nothing go to amateur level. And to be honest, Muay Thai Victoria level, it's actually really good these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to have that and then go to amateurs and then go to pro professional like on Roots on Rebellion, that's like wow, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I think having a gap in between, like a platform or something in between that helps, like for females.
Well, yeah, I thought it worked really well for me. And it's obviously just because I had, again, the opportunities to go to Queensland and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was very comforting. So yeah, I wasn't actually that stressed, I don't think, going into the pro fight, just because it was a pro fight or anything. Progression.
Yeah, I think that's a very good progression. Like if anyone could have that progression, I think everyone won't be as afraid to fight or like get into the ring and have no pads. I want to hear some of your like struggles in your fighting. It could be amateur level or it could be pro level. What are some of your struggles that you have or what you faced over the time that you've been fighting?
Yeah. So going back to what we were kind of talking about before, but I feel like in my later career, so the newer sort of, or the latest sort of stuff I've been doing, just like sometimes like mentally switching off. I had a fight, someone was on the same card, in Perth, October, late October last year. And I thought I had this amazing camp. I was feeling so good. I was like, gonna smash this. It was a rematch. And I was like, the first time I had fought Courtney, I'd come off like my longest break ever. I think it was almost a year or at least like 10 months or something, which is, I've never had that long a break in the sport. And, so I was like kind of coming back in ring rust and I was like, yeah, this time, I've had 3 fights and since coming back, I'm so ready. And then I just didn't switch on in the ring at all. Like mentally checked out. I don't know. And it was the first time in my life that Daniel was in my corner, like screaming at me, like, what are you fucking doing? Get it together. Like we've been drilling this stuff. And it like was not coming out. And then almost more annoyingly in the 5th round, it did come out. And I had like an awesome 5th round, cut Courtney and like finished really strong. And it's almost worse because I'm like, it was there. Like I could have done it. It just happened way too late. So I had like a pretty good first round, then 3 shit ass rounds where like I just wasn't doing the thing, doing all the things that you spend 8 weeks working on or whatever it is, all this time training for, and it was a title fight as well. So it was, we had worked for Courtney, like this opponent was rematch and so much time from everyone, not just myself, but like Daniel putting into me and like my training partners at the gym. And it was like, I was just letting them all down in real time. Like Jimmy, one of our other trainers, had like self-funded to come to Perth because he just wanted to be there to support. Like he was like, I want to be there if you become a champion. And yeah, it was just like it seemed out of my control or like I wasn't there in the moment or something. And yeah, it was the first time that Daniel sprayed me in the corner. Like normally he's super chill, like, do this, the fuck, she's throwing this, so you got to throw that or whatever. But he was just giving me a spray because he could see it, but I just like wasn't there. And then I switched on for the last round. So now I'm coming out of it like, okay, so it was there the whole time and I just didn't do it. And that, like mentally is really hard to like feeling like you've let yourself down and everyone else who's come there for you. And it's like everyone put in all this time and work and then you couldn't even like turn up the one time.
I feel like we also like put so much pressure on
Oh,
ourselves,
so
and especially what you experience. I think a lot of people experience this, and we don't vocalize it as much as we do. So I'm thank you for like bringing this up, because like, yeah, we do have those moments where we're like, oh yeah, we shut down a little
Yeah.
bit in the ring.
I
It
feel like
just happened. Like, do you know the reason, or like it just happened?
I think it just happened. It was probably the first
Yeah.
time
Mm.
I really feel like, people say that sometimes they just don't like
Yeah.
bring it. And it was probably the first time that's ever happened to me. And I don't think there was a reason or anything. Like I wouldn't like nothing was wrong. There was no injuries or anything. Like it was literally just like a mental thing. And I feel like your brain is so annoying. Sometimes it's obviously great in so many ways, but like sometimes you just want to tell it to do something and it just won't do it. I don't know.
And it happens. I think it's a part of the journey, right? That everyone face that once or twice
Yeah.
or more than that.
Mm.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah. And it's hard, like obviously in fighting, you in like Australia at least, and it's not the same if you're fighting in Thailand regularly, but you have these like 6-8 week camps almost to work towards like one particular fight. And most of the time it's 9 minutes you get in the ring, maybe 15 if you're lucky and you get 5 rounds. And you spend all this like time and energy like over those 8 weeks. You know, your life goes down the drain. Your like social life, your home life, you know, as you girls know, like everything goes on the back burners, and everyone around you, like at your gym, it's like your coach and your pad holders and your training partners and stuff are putting their like bodies on the line so you can practice this elbow on their heads. And then like you have 9 minutes or whatever it is to put it all together. And I feel like when I'm having like my pre-fight nerves, I feel like that's what I'm nervous about. I don't think I really get nervous about getting hurt. I don't know if I don't care about that or it's just like not priority, but it's almost like, what if I like disappoint myself and you do all this work and then you do like what I did in Perth and just perform shit and it's like all for nothing and you wasted everyone's time. So yeah, I feel like it's hard that way fighting compared to most other sports, like if you're playing footy or basketball or netball or something, and it's like, yeah, you train, but then every week you get a game. And if you play shit one week, it doesn't matter because you can just try again next week.
Yeah.
But like fighting's not like that. You have your one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that fight, obviously you feel like you're disappointed in your performance. How did you overcome that? Or what did you say to yourself and then come back from that?
Yeah, well, it did give me a lot of drive. I was like depressed for like a week.
Oh,
Maybe more. I was like
Yeah.
so down. It was the lowest I've ever been after a fight. Normally, like win or lose, I have like a post-fight high. If I feel happy, obviously winning, you get one bit more. But I was so down and I had like 2 black eyes. And normally I would walk around after a fight with like my like black eyes or whatever's, a physical thing I've got going on. And I'm like, yeah. But every time I would see myself in the mirror, I'd be like, shame. Like, it's like my black eyes of shame. And then like a week after or maybe, 10 days afterwards or something, I had another fight booked in already, which had been booked in before I even took the fight with Courtney. And like a week after or something, like I was just like, fuck this. I'm gonna train my fucking ass off like in this next camp. I'm not letting that happen again. Like there's no way, because I felt so shit. I was like, there's no way I'm coming out of a fight ever again feeling like that. Like I can lose or get knocked out or whatever. That's a different story. But like doing 5 rounds and just being like really disappointed in yourself for no other reason, I was like, I'm never feeling like that again. Like every fight I do, I'm going to train like 100% and then fight like I've been training at like 100% so that I don't have to feel like,
That's really good. That's like how to say you make yourself accountable and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let that happen again. And
It's that or not, like, don't fight. Because, like, no one wants to, I don't know, see that. Like, I'm going to make everyone spend time out of their day for me and then just, piss it down the drain. Because I'm like, I'll just, I don't know, light spa or whatever. And, like, it's just how I felt like immediately afterwards as well. So that fight was in late October, I think. And then I had another fight in early December. So it was only 5 or 6 weeks afterwards. And so it was very raw for me. And I'm like, not saying that I'm going to like never struggle with that again, because I'm sure if I keep fighting, there'll be times where, I don't switch on again and stuff. But yeah, that was just like the immediate aftermath. And that next fight that I had very soon afterwards, I was like, there's no way I'm leaving that fight with like leaving anything in the ring.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how did the next fight go after that?
Yeah, I was stoked actually with my performance. So I was so happy. Daniel was so happy with me. We were doing things that we were drilling and it was like all coming together. It was in Auckland. So like different, obviously the fight show and stuff hadn't been on before against a really good opponent, Katie Tornady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Millington now is her last name. It used to be Tucker. Like really strong opponent, and I was so happy with my performance in that fight. So
Amazing.
yeah, it was like one of those win situations.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Dan was so upset when it didn't go my way. Not I think he did genuinely think I won, but I was like, I don't care. Like I'm happy with how I perform. So like who gives a hoot?
Yeah.
And that's what it matters. Right? When
Yeah.
you're happy with
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
after like you're disappointed with yourself, you're like put everything in and come back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Couldn't care less about the result. It was like a no contest now. So I was like, well, that's not any better than I've lost, really. So yeah, I didn't care about winning or losing. I was so happy when that fight finished. I was like, good, I still can do it.
That's a good mindset to have. Yeah.
Yeah, and with this fight, like, did you have any, like you said you had fight moves in your previous fight. Did you also have it in this fight leading up to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you normally feel in these situations, like in the back room or leading up to the fights?
I feel like fight week, I don't really struggle with nerves. I feel like I'm so focused on like the weight cut and stressing about making weight that like I don't even think about the fight, which I actually think is a really good thing because like when I do stress about it, I'm like, I'll overanalyze it and like, you're sitting in bed at night and you're thinking, okay, so once we touch gloves, I'm going to throw that head kick or whatever. And it's like, it's never going to happen like that. You're wasting your energy trying to think about how the fight's going to go, but you can't help yourself. So I actually feel like not stressing, but working towards the weight cut, like, fuck up, another liter of water to go, or, oh my God, this meal sucks. I spend most of my mental energy thinking about the weight cut because our fight week, training's quite light. It tapers off. So you're not like training too hard or anything, just thinking about the weight cut. And then as soon as the weigh-in's over, first thought is like, yes, food and like drinking. And then like that night I'll be like, oh fuck, now I've got to fight.
Once you made weight, oh shit, it's happening.
Like I just got to fight now. Because he spends the whole week thinking like, oh my God, I got to 2 kilos to go or whatever it is. And then once you weigh in and you make weight and that's all good, you're like, oh yeah, I got to fight now. And then probably for that like 24 hours, I feel like my stress is mostly just like, I want to do good, like not necessarily win or whatever, which obviously you do want to win. But yeah, I just want to like feel happy in my performance and like be better than the last time that I fought, or at least like show that I've made some improvements and stuff. And then I always have like the fight day. I don't know what it is. I'll nap like 3 times. Like I'll spend like, I'll go get my head. I'll wake up pretty early because I'm so excited to have breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I'll like have a nap. And then I'll go get my hair done and then I come back and I'll have another nap. And I'm like so fatigued. Like it's like chronic fatigue on fight day. And then I always feel really like drained and low energy. And it used to freak me out because I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to have any energy tonight when I fight. And then like I've fought like 25 times now. I'm like, oh no, it's just like obviously how I feel during the day. And it all it works out okay in the end. And then, like, same thing when I'm hitting the pads out the back. I'm like, I don't think girls get this, but like, you gas, like, you hit the pad twice and you feel gassed. You're like the first couple times that was happening to me, I was like, oh my God, there's no way I can fight. Like, I can't even throw 2 kicks without feeling out of breath.
Yeah.
But I think it's obviously just the adrenaline or something, because again, that's like, it always happens. So now I'm just like, roll with it. But yeah, I think my nerves is definitely more just like, I just want to do well. I've been really lucky on my fights. Like the worst I think I've ever been injured is like 2 black eyes. So I feel like I'm not like triggered by the thought of getting injured. I'm quite a like safe fighter, I suppose. Like my defense is probably my best asset. And I'm definitely more like defensive and like counterattacky which does come back to bite me because that's something I've been trying to work on, is like being more aggressive, because I am very used to just like going on the back foot, which now I've had 25 fights and everyone knows I fight like that. Like I got to change. But the good thing is that I've been like pretty safe. So I'm not stressed about getting injured or even losing really, it's more just like, I fucking hope this camp wasn't a waste,
Wasn't do well.
Yeah. And then I actually like the warming up bit where you like, not the hitting pads, but like Daniel will just like put on a belly pad and we'll just
Yeah.
move around really light. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Better.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is what I've been like, this is what I'm here for, like
Yeah.
a reason. And I chose to be here and
Uh,
like, oh yeah, I'm doing all these things that I like doing stuff. So it kind of goes away by then. And then by the time I'm walking out, I'm like, well, it's too late now. I want to turn around. It's too late.
It's never too late. I see people leave
Oh,
the stadium. The nerves kick in. And, yeah, it does happen sometimes though.
I can't imagine doing that. I feel like
Yeah.
the shame,
Yeah.
Daniel would be like, never come back to my gym.
Yeah.
Oh, it's our gym now. But, like when I was fighting previously, like if I got in the ring and then was like dipped out of there, I reckon he'd be like, never come
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
And I think I would rather get like beat to a pulp
Then
than do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
In front of everyone. So yeah, but obviously people nerves take over. But
You just touched on a topic. So now you have a gym. Yeah, you want to talk a bit
Yes, we do.
about talk about what you're doing now and how you're balancing everything and how's it going?
Really good. So I have worked in the gym for like maybe 4 years or something. I'm actually not sure. I started there part-time when I was at uni and just like working nights on the desk. And then when I was kind of finishing up uni, I studied economics at uni. And I actually had fun doing it. But like the last semester, the last like 6 months, I was like, oh my God, now I'm going to have to get a job in economics. And I was like, am I going to be a data analyst? And I was like having this existential crisis. I was like, why did I do this degree? Oh my God. And then really luckily, so Daniel and his wife, Carly was like managing the gym at the time. She was like, oh, would you want to work here like full time? And I was like, fuck yes. Like that's so much better than being a data analyst. And I actually, you know what? I have this photo that like comes up in my memories every now and again and it's like etched into my brain, but it is fully manifestation because I remember like maybe 6 months after starting training or within a year, maybe the time I had like my first fight or something, I remember I can picture it so vividly. I'm in these like orange Venom shorts and I've taken a photo in the gym and it said something like, I posted on my story and it was like Googling how to make Muay Thai a full-time job. And at the time I was like, obviously taking the piss. I was like, Muay Thai will never be a full-time job for me. You can't live your dreams. And now it fully is because I started working there full-time when I finished up uni. So I was managing, so I've been there for ages anyways. But then Daniel, who owned the gym, my head coach and stuff, kind of like approached me and was like, do you want to buy into the business? Pretty much. Do you want to become partners? I think like we work really well together. We've been like, fight camps, but also working in like the managing space together for like years. Like we complement each other really well. His kids are just about getting to the end of high school and he's like, oh, maybe in the future down the track, things might change for me because he gets, someone else in. And so it worked really well for him. And obviously I was like, hell yes, I want to come into the business because I kind of thought of it as my own anyway. Not my own, but like it is literally my whole life. As I'm sure you girls know, although I know you train obviously at 8 so it's like a little bit different, but working there full time and then like training full time at the gym, like that is my house. My home that I sleep in is just where I go to sleep and then I live at the gym essentially. And like, because I'm on the desk and I'm taking classes, like I know everyone in the gym. I know what they all do for work and I very much felt like it was, I'm not just some random buying into the gym. Like, I think a lot of the members, like when I did buy into me, like sent out an email like, hey, happy news, like Erin's buying into the business. A lot of them were kind of like, oh, she wasn't already? Like, she's always there. So it was like quite a natural progression, I think. Yeah. But also like the circumstances that brought me there, very grateful for. And it was like hard work because like I put in the time and stuff and also just like lucky that, I came in when I did and
amazing.
It was manifestation. That was me, like 21 years old being like, I love Muay Thai so much. I wish I could make money out of this, but it will never happen. It's been my full-time job for a while, but yeah.
Let's talk
Live
about
your dreams.
your relationship a little bit. Does he train Muay Thai?
No, he does not.
Yeah. So how did he like deal with you? Obviously emotional during the
What are you saying?
that's what we have to deal with.
Yeah. No, I'm always an amazing person to be around. I don't get hangry.
Not at all.
When he watches this, he'll be like, so like I know girls have spoken about it and stuff before. I think like your partner will make or break you. And like sometimes you got to pick one because it's so hard. I think I'll just hit the jackpot, obviously. But so my partner Kane, we were together. It'll be 10 years this year.
Wow.
So before I even started training in Muay Thai or anything like that. And I don't know if because I started like after we were together, it has helped more than like, getting with someone partway through your career.
Yeah.
But he is always like, he's my biggest supporter. He's been to every single fight I've ever had. Like I fought in Turkey for those World Games in 2022, I think. He came, been to my like fights in Thailand, came to Auckland, Perth, like always there. And he loves it. And it's not to say that he doesn't, like, I know it is hard on him because like we won't know what it's like. If you've done a fight camp, you're not the best partner to be around. You do have to sacrifice so much. Like people are like, how do you balance both? And it's like, well, you don't really. Things have to go. You can't, I'm not like this superhuman who's like, ticking off every goal. When you're in fight camp, some things go out the window. The house is a little bit messier. Like I'm not the most fun person to be around. He'll say that. Like your sex drive is pretty shit, like towards the end when you're getting really skinny and stuff. It's like, all these things. But he's, just always, he loves coming and watching. And he's like my biggest supporter. And then I had a little break at the start of 2025. I was kind of just like, I didn't mentally want to be there. I actually had this we had this training session and everyone I think was a little bit shit. And Daniel was kind of like, do you guys even want to be here? And I had this like moment and I've just been doing it, for years and without really thinking. And I was kind of like, maybe I don't want to be here, like in fighter training. And so I had, the longest break that I've had. And when I was like, said to him, like, hey, my partner, I don't think I want to fight right now. I don't know if I want to fight again. He was just like, okay, cool. Like, whatever, you don't want to fight, don't fight. And then when I was like, I want to fight again, he was like, fuck yeah,
Oh,
So,
that's so good.
he is, I'm like, so lucky to have him. Whatever, like, the decision is. And, like, I think I fought on his, like, birthday once. He wanted to do this party and I was like, I have a fight in that day. Can we do it the next weekend? Like, he was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
so cute. That's very...
legend. But it is, like, I know it's hard on him. So, like, when I'm having, like, I haven't fought since December, obviously try to make it up, be really happy and obviously can't do everything. But, like, I know it's not always that fun. Can't go out to dinner, obviously. Do the things that you, like, normally would want to do a lot of the time. But I think he knows as well, like, I'm not going to be able to do it forever. It's, like, a now thing. And he just understands you have to take the opportunities while they're there. Like, you could get injured. Like, I might be like, I'm going to fight till I'm 28 soon. I'm going to fight till I'm 35 and maybe I'll do my ACL next year and maybe the recovery doesn't go well. And like, that's it, like you never know. Maybe you just can't get matched up anymore or whatever happens. And even if everything goes perfectly, I'm just not going to be able to fight forever as no one can. Like he knows that it's what I want to do now. So it's now. And then, in 10 years or something, we'll be able to go out for all the dinners that we want and do all the things, all the holidays and it won't matter because,
I really love that mindset of you as well, Erin, that like you kind of like being in the present and like take the opportunities like right now. You're not thinking like, in 10 years, I'm going to be here. Like some people actually do that and they never actually reach that point. But I think you actually take it as you go, and then that's like your progression, and then you're enjoying and you love every fight. You look like you're so happy.
I talk too much about this because this was going to be my when you say at the end, what is your like advice for the next generation? This is going to be it. We'll just say it now. But I do think that like, and Daniel's always drilled this into me because he comes from a really sporty background and stuff. But like, obviously, if you want to do it and stuff, you're not forced to do anything, but take the opportunities while they're there because they're not always going to be there. And like, regardless, there's going to be a time when you can't you know, train, or well, you probably still train, but like you're not going to be fighting when once you reach a certain age. But it could happen long before that. Like you can have all these grand plans and stuff, and it could just disintegrate literally in one training session when you break something or snap something that shouldn't be snapped. Or whatever it is. So anything that comes up. And like I've had such like when I started, if you'd been like, what do you want to do when you fight? Like I don't even know what would have come out of my mouth, but like I've had so many amazing opportunities that you're good so
It's a coughing fit.
yeah, so joke. I've had all these amazing opportunities that like now I look back and I'm like, that was like the best thing of my life. Like when I did fight in Turkey, it was this small Australian team. There was like 7 of us and we all won gold. Because it was such a small team, but we were like so tight. Like there was like the youngest might have been like 12 or 13 or something. And I'd be like, these are my best friends. Like, and I was friends with like all their family and stuff that was there to support them. And it was like such a wholesome trip. And then I think I had 3 fights to win gold. And when I did, I think it was like, might have been like when I went there, it was my 7th ever amateur fight. So like it was pretty new, but there's no fucking when I started, I feel like I'm going to go to Worlds and win gold one day in Turkey. Like you don't know. And then all this stuff happens. And now I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I've had such a full life, like since fighting, like so many amazing, fun things have happened to me that so many people don't get to experience because most people don't jump in there. But yeah, and like, I'm like, that's what makes life worth living. Like, you know? Yeah. So yeah, grab the opportunities while they're there, especially with girls. Like, you know, a lot of them are like, oh, I'm not ready. They really want to be like perfect. And I definitely like Daniel like pushed me into fighting. Like I was like, is it like the first time I like said I'd fight? I was like, oh, is it like a sparring day? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, camp starts Monday. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know what these words mean. And then it was like training 6 days a week. And yeah, like he obviously believed in me, but there's no way I would have done it by myself. And I know like boys are different because boys will come into the gym for their first training session and be like, I'm going to fight. And I'm like, okay. Whereas the girl, yeah, like we have this girl in gym, Kat, I'm looking at you if you're watching this, who's been training for years and she's fucking amazing. And she's got a lot, obviously got work and stuff going on. So not everyone can just fight, but like, yeah, a lot of girls are just like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready yet and stuff like that. I just need a bit of a
girls need a lot
do
more
it.
push. That's what we're talking about. Girls need a lot more push.
They do, yeah. They're so much more uncertain of themselves than boys a lot of the time. Not that all boys are, but a lot of them come in and they're like, yeah, I've like did a little bit of boxing. I'm pretty good. Like maybe you can put me in the advanced class. And you watch them and you're like, you can stay with the beginners for now. Whereas the girls will be like, oh, I haven't done much. And then they've actually done like, they had 10 years of like kickboxing experience, but they didn't do Muay Thai, so they didn't want to bring it up. Like, they're amazing.
Erin, I want to go back a little bit when you mentioned that you had a break in 2025, right? Did you tell Daniel? How did he cope with that? And what's in your mind at that time? Do you think that you will come back or what's going on? Like, can you tell us a little bit about that part?
Yeah. So this probably where like, I don't know what my fight was before that one, but I feel like, oh, no, I do know because it was one of your stablemates because it was on the 8-woman, the hardcore 8-woman.
Oh, no.
That's hardcore 8-woman tournament.
Yes.
That was
crazy.
Like epic. Oh my God.
So I did that in like October 2024. Was still training and stuff and came back after I didn't have any fights for the end of the year and came back the next year and just kind of assumed that I would still be fighting because I had been for the past like 3 years before that, just fight, just always had something booked in almost. And I don't think I could recognize it, but obviously Daniel recognized it. And he was like, said this thing. So it was kind of directed at the whole group. But one training session when we all just obviously weren't switched on as much as we needed to be. And he was like, do you guys even want to be here? Because like, you don't look like you want to be here. I had this like epiphany and I was like, do I want to be here? Like in fight training. And I was like, it's so much work and effort and stuff. And I literally was just like, I don't know if I like, not that I care enough at the moment, but like, I don't know if that is my priority right now. And it needs to be your priority. Like when you're fighting, like you can't half-ass it or whatever. You can't just turn up every day and like have fun and then go jump in the ring. And you can do that for training. Like you can still train. I just had a bit of a realization. I had a real like existential crisis for like a couple weeks when I was like, do I not want to fight anymore? Because so much of my like identity is being a Muay Thai fighter. Like, you don't realize it probably at the time, but I was like, but I've spent years like leading into this and building my name up and, you know, trying to reach these goals and stuff. Am I just going to like give it away? And it was a really hard decision to make. But then I think when I realized like, if I can't tell myself, yes, I 100% want to be fighting, especially this level, because like when you're an amateur, when you're starting out, okay, it doesn't really matter. But like now I'm getting like good opponents and stuff. And as I said before, like a lot of people putting a lot of time and effort into me getting these good opponents and fighting them. Yeah, I was like, if I can't tell myself that, yes, I 100% want to be there and I want to fight, it's a no. Like it's either yes, definitely yes, or no. And so once I made the decision and I was like, I want to have a break, I felt like way more at peace, because I think it was the decision that was getting me like, should I throw it away? That's what I felt like, or just push through. And then when I was like, no, you obviously need to have a break. And then I told Daniel about it. It was like a big relief. And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, I've made the right decision. And he was, as always, so chill about it. He's like, good, like just do what you want to do. Like, I don't care if he doesn't care if people come in and have 1 fight, 10 fights, world champion, like just there to, you know, support you. So if you don't want to fight, like don't fight. You can still train, you know, like go back to enjoying Muay Thai, which is why I started, you know, like I never started being like, I'm going to fight. I started because I just enjoyed it. And so I had a break. And actually during that time, I was thinking, I don't think I'll fight again. Like I would have told plenty of people. They're like, oh, you know, everyone comes up to you that hadn't seen you in a couple months and they're like, oh, when are you fighting again? Was their first question. Like, shut up.
That's like, how are you to the fighter?
Yeah. There's so many things going on and people, it was like, anyway, they're meaning well. But yeah, people would have been like, oh, when are you fighting next? And I would have said to so many people like, oh, I actually don't think I'm going to fight again. Like I'm not feeling it anymore. And then I went to one fight show, which was actually Infinity 2025, which was in April, I think late April. So it wasn't that long. I probably had like 4 months off or something, like as in 4 months where I was like, I'm not going to fight. And I was out the back helping, and actually 3 of the guys from my gym fought. One was like amateur and then 2 professionals. It was just like the best time of my life. I was like, I love fighting so much. Oh my God, watching these boys from my gym, like I was screaming my head off. And like 2 of the 2 pros, they did win. And I know it's like a false sense of positivity because you don't always win, obviously. But these boys they fought amazing, good. And I was out the back with everyone getting ready. And I came up to Daniel and I was like, give me a fight. I'm unfit and I'm very much over my fight weight. So we're going to have to work towards it. But like, let's get the ball rolling. And then, yeah, I kind of got like my passion back for it after that. It wasn't just that, but yeah, like I think I just needed a couple months off because before that I probably was like always booked in for something. Yeah. And you're like, you finish one, you already have something else booked in, which a lot of the time is good. But a lot of the time, you know, if you kind of feeling burnt out at the end of your fight and then you're like, oh my God, I'm back into camp on Monday. Like, and I got another 6 weeks and then there's another fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, just having a break every now and again is probably, so maybe in hindsight, like it wasn't that I actually didn't want to do it anymore. I just probably needed a break. Yeah.
Human, I think, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe coaches overlook that. I think as a fighter, sometimes you need a break to have that passion back. Yeah, and that's the point of people either have a break or they just quit all over. I feel like, yeah, like from what I've heard from other people. So I think that break brought you back your passion, the fire in you to actually keep fighting.
Yeah, and like it doesn't mean like if you're not fighting, you don't have to never come to the gym.
Yeah.
And it was honestly probably really good that I did work in the gym full time because like I'd be there all day and then I'm like, oh, well, I may as well do a class. And, you know, sometimes I would probably go home and sometimes I'd be like, oh, can't really be fucked. Maybe I'll just go home. And then like, no, I'm here already. Just do the class. And then I'll train and be like, I love Muay Thai. Like, you know, and then you're still training and so you're still around everyone and you still have the vibe and then you realize, you know, that's why you love it and stuff. Whereas I think some people maybe if they want to have a break and they don't train at all and they don't come back to the gym and then they just forget about it, you know, move on and then they'll maybe, you know, lose their gym membership or whatever and then that's how they maybe stop. Whereas, yeah, I was probably forced to still be around it every day and it like in a really good way because, it made me like stay
Yeah.
stay in touch with it. And it wasn't like I wasn't training over that time, but it was just way more casually then.
Yeah, like no pressure of like
No
having
pressure,
to
yeah.
be in a fight camp. Enjoy Muay Thai, the sport that we
Just
love and
enjoy it.
somehow.
Yeah. And sometimes like,
good.
your sparring is so much better when you're just training like that.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. If you like, you can try new things. And if you fuck up, you're not like thinking
Yeah.
about it for the next 3 days. Like, I fucked up that one move in sparring the other night.
That's what we said
Yeah.
yesterday. We were like, when we don't have fight book, oh my God, we love pad book. But
Yes.
when
Yeah.
the fight camp over, it
pads.
put me on like,
I know. 5 rounds. There's no breaks. The head or Jimmy, whoever's holding for you, 5 rounds, probably 10-second of break where you get to do 10 push-ups, and then they're like, all right, next round, get back up again. When you're not training for anything, you're like, wow, everything's landing so clean. I can fight again. I'm amazing. And then as soon as you get back into camp, it's like the pressure's on and you're like, nothing's landing.
So what's next now, Erin? What are your goals in fighting?
I am in a spot, I think, in my career where I don't want to like put too much pressure on myself. I've never been someone who's like super into goal setting or anything. I think I just want to like take the opportunities that arise. I'm not like aiming towards anything in particular in terms of titles or international opponents or fighting in Thailand or anything. I think I would like all those things, but I also just like fighting. Like, I don't mind if it's just a fight, like it doesn't have to be for anything or be geared towards like, fighting this opponent so you can improve your ranking and then blah, 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 I don't really want to focus on that sort of stuff at the moment. I think, just fighting and taking the fights that come up. And then like, there's how my really career has gone anyway, but just seeing where that kind of leads and stuff. So not saying that I don't want to like achieve anything, but I don't want to focus too much on doing anything in particular. I think I just want to fight.
No, that's fair. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what your career has been. It's just taking those opportunities and like building that platform for yourself and being where you are today. So I think like you've done an amazing job.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's so good. And one last question that we always ask all our guests is, what you want to leave for the next generation or a younger self of you, or like any advice that you want to give to the audience today?
So we already took my one that I was going to say about taking all the opportunities.
Yeah.
So I suppose if I went back and spoke to my younger self, maybe, I think like just riding the waves, like there's ups and there's downs. And like every time you have something shitty happen, just remember, well, not even necessarily shitty, but you're not feeling you're progressing or having a bad training session or a couple weeks or something. Think of like all the positives that have come from it. And like, I wouldn't trade that for like anything, I don't think. Like the experiences that I've had in the sport. So whenever it ends for me in like whatever way I, finish up fighting, I think like I'll be so happy with what I've done, regardless, even if I never fought again. I'd be like, I have done some cool stuff. Some of the best memories of my life have been due to this sport. So just like not stress about it too much. The lows are there, and then when you have the highs, they're really high and stuff. And it's just ride it. So I'm just rambling a bit now. But
such a good podcast. I mean, like, we never really like talk much because you guys so far away. The side. But today I feel like I know so much more about Erin Carter, and it's just so good to know you. Thank you so much, Erin, for
I'm sorry I
giving
did
out.
all the talking. I did.
No, that's what we want. That's what we want.
But I already listened to both of your podcast episodes, so I didn't need to ask you. No, I know you already.
You don't need to know about us. It's about you today.
Yeah, it's about you today.
Thank you. Enjoy your Thailand trip as you got a Thailand trip coming up, and look forward to seeing your next fight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening in. And thank you, Erin. Thank you for coming all this way and doing this podcast with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. See you guys.